maybe my whole participation in that World Cup led up for that one moment. That one moment where you get up, where Grant Elliott has put his hand out, and it's a beautiful picture, actually. Like, again, it's something that I really enjoy from an artistic point of view. I think it's a wonderful picture, and it represents so much. And that one moment, although I didn't go on to win a World Cup, and neither did Grant, that one picture right there could mean so much to so many more people. I loved skateboarding more than anything in the world, to be honest with you. I loved fishing. It's what I did. That was a culture thing. You know, I grew up fishing. I grew up in the outdoors. But skateboarding, I found skateboarding. Like, that was the thing for me. Cricket was pretty much something that I enjoyed doing, and I was really good at it. But I didn't ever think I was going to make a living out of it. So yeah, in a parallel world, I could be a world famous photographer or something along those lines. But I would have done fine. Yeah, we go around the world targeting these fish. You go for about 10 days. You have a great time. Different periods of the year.
I petition Dale Steyn to host next Man vs. Wild. I think he can take it forward. This studio doesn't seem like the space
I feel out of place when I'm dressed like this. I don't really watch a lot of TV. That's the crazy thing. I don't know if I told you the other day, but I don't have a TV now at my house. I don't have a TV. Yeah, I don't have.
Okay, you fish, you do cool stuff. Fine.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time. I got
he doesn't need to do this stuff.
I got 3 border collies. You know, they keep me busy. I don't listen to anything that's like on the radio right now. Like
no Billboard top 40s.
No, if you put that's don't. I will die.
You would have almost had to bleep something out there.
Almost, yeah. No.
Welcome to ESPN Cricinfo Stump Mic. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our guest for today's show. He's acted alongside Adam Sandler in a Hollywood film. He's an avid surfer, but most of all, he probably loves to fish over everything else. In the middle of all of that, he's managed to take 699 wickets in international cricket. Say hello to actor, skateboarder, and one of the most lethal fast bowling cricketers of all time, I would say.
All time.
Dale Steyn.
Drum roll. You should have had one. We'll put it in the sound effect later.
Welcome to the show, Dale
Thank
Steyn.
you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, like, is that a fair characterization of you outside of cricket? Like, it's acting and then everything else.
Not acting. I felt like I acted when I was playing cricket. Like, you know, playing cricket was an act. You know, I think everything else I do comes quite naturally to me. Like, I love being outdoors, whether it be fishing or hanging out with my dogs or surfing or skateboarding or whatever it is. I love sport too, so in general. But like, when it came to cricketing,
cricket and fishing.
Cricking.
Yeah,
let's just call it cricking for now. That was
a good sponsor segment. There is a brand, I think a burger brand.
Really?
Called Cricking.
There we go. Yeah, cricking.
Oh, or King of Cricket.
King
of cricket.
Yeah, cricking. There we go. That was all an act, really. That was there was a lot of acting that got involved in that. It was like a lot of waking up when you saw and you're not feeling up for it today, but this is what you do. This is what everyone is looking, they have eyes on you, you know, like they want you to go out there and perform, and you can't go out there sulking, you can't go out there kicking the ground with your head down. You have to present yourself in a particular way, look the part. So I felt like cricket was, there was a lot of acting in cricket, but my acting in Hollywood and that, not so good.
Is that because you're a fast bowler? Does that something do all fast bowlers do? Like you need to put on a ferocious aura about yourself?
I'm not sure whether all fast bowlers do it. I liked growing up watching other guys do what they do. So I loved watching, like from a cricket point of view, I loved watching Brett Lee bowl. I loved watching Shaib and Allen and these guys. And then Shane Warne for me was just like, it was a theatrical performance that I loved watching him do. You know, he would bowl on pitches that weren't particularly spinning tracks and surfaces, and yet he was still able to take wickets. And I was like, how? How is he taking wickets when all the other spinners are struggling? And I'm like, because he's playing this part. You know, he's acting as though every ball that he bowls, it's spinning a mile. And every time you hit him for a boundary in a particular place, he wanted you to hit the ball there, you know.
So he made the batsman believe, even though there was nothing.
Absolutely. You know, I was just watching him and I was like, I don't buy that. I don't buy that you know, this smoke screen that you're putting on in front of people. I obviously met him a bunch of times, and he's a wonderful, wonderful man, and he is very confident in that. But I felt like a lot of times that he needed to do something this is his words, to find a way to take a wicket. And if acting a particular way to fool people into thinking that you're in control of what you're doing is one way, then I'm going to use that too. So when it came to fast bowling, I felt like I needed to include that into my game.
Like, as a spectator or as someone who'd watch you on TV, you had fooled me. I would say I don't believe the fact that it was an act. Like seeing you bowl would strike fear in me. And I would feel for whoever's facing you.
Are you scared now whilst you're sitting here?
It's a bit surreal, but I'm not scared.
But you get what I'm saying.
I get it.
Like I would walk into like a shopping center, and it happened to me on more than one occasion where I would go buy groceries, and like a kid would walk up to me and want to take a picture with me, and then I would hear the parents in Afrikaans say, "Stay away from him. He's a very angry man," you know. And it's like, oh, I'm not that scary. I'm not that angry. You know, and the amount of people that have approached me, and they always say, "Oh, you look so much bigger on TV," you know, or "You look so much scarier on TV," and you know that's exactly wasn't that my job? Then I felt like, yeah, I was doing the right thing, but I didn't want to scare people off the field, like you know. So I'm glad you're not scared right now. It's a good thing.
This is a safe space. You're not wearing a helmet and facing him at 22 yards across.
You're fine.
Like even in that regard, right? You had spoken to Sanjay Manjrekar a few years ago, and at ESPNcricinfo, and you had mentioned your first ever cricketing memory, right? Of being accidentally dropped off in another gate at school by your parents because there was some other activity happening in the house, and that's the first time you saw cricket.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if you ever think of yourself in a parallel universe where that didn't happen and you still went in through the front gate. Like, do you ever imagine yourself not playing this game?
Yeah, I could, I suppose. This might sound like a little bit like arrogant, but I always found that like whatever I was going to do, I was going to be successful at it. I had that mindset that it didn't really matter. Like, I didn't ever think that I was going to become a cricket player that was going to play for South Africa and then go on to play in India and play in leagues around the world. And that was not what I saw myself doing. When I was in high school, I loved skateboarding more than anything in the world, to be honest with you. I loved fishing. It's what I did. That was a culture thing. You know, I grew up fishing. I grew up in the outdoors. But skateboarding, I found skateboarding. Like, that was the thing for me. And with skateboarding came like this art side of I love art too. I love music and I love art. I love drawing and I love looking at art. I love music and I love the way that I love poetry. I love the way that things move and flow and you know, visibly look wonderful and aesthetic to the eye. Like, I like that kind of thing. And skateboarding was something that caught my eye and I really enjoyed it. So one of the things that came with skateboarding was photography. So I genuinely thought that when I finished school that I would go into that line of work, that I would be a photographer, whether it be a nature photographer, a skateboarding photographer, a sports photographer, but I would be taking photographs of things. And cricket was pretty much something that I enjoyed doing and I was really good at it, but I didn't ever think I was going to make a living out of it. So yeah, in a parallel world, I could be a world famous photographer or something along those lines. But I would have done fine. Like, yeah.
Your colleague here, who you're working with for the past 10 days, Anil Kumble, his Instagram page just says Anil Kumble Photography.
There you go.
He doesn't post, there's no like generic posts at all. He's also a very avid photographer. So maybe the two of you all in a different world.
Go and look at my Instagram. I don't think there's anything cricket.
Yeah, there's hardly
obviously
any.
There's the odd sponsor that I have to do, and from time to time someone will send me something that, you know, takes me down memory lane that's pretty aesthetically pleasing to look at.
There was a post with the hairstyle, with the mohawk.
Yeah, you know, that was...
we get into that, the punk rock aesthetic.
I may have been single when I posted that, I don't know. Not
but
sure.
Like, it just reminds, who's the, I think the England batter Mark Butcher, right? Even on his Twitter, he has a guitar player.
Yeah.
First.
Isn't he a very good
He's a very good
good,
guitar player.
Yeah. So like I was going to get into skateboarding, right? Do you ever imagine yourself to be, or who did you model yourself around? Like Tony Hawk, I'm guessing, because that was what
no, I think everyone thinks Tony Hawk because he's the first person's name that comes to everyone's mind when they think like skateboarding. And Tony Hawk is obviously a wonderful skateboarder. But there was one particular guy, his name is Jeff Rowley, He's kind of who I idolized growing up. And one of the great things about sports or skateboarding or culture is that if you embrace yourself and you immerse yourself into those fields, you somehow cross paths along the line. And when I was growing up, I used to watch Jeff skate. We used to buy these videos. They were called 411 video magazines, because back then we couldn't get physical magazines. They were tough to get in South Africa, and you don't have Instagram and stuff like that like you got now. So they would bring out these video magazines that they would publish one video for every 3 or 4 months. So you get issue 1, which would be January to like March or whatever it was, and it would be a recap of what's happening in world skateboarding, good music, good skateboarding. And from a very young age, I caught on to this guy. He caught my eye, and I was just like, this is the guy. He's a wonderful, wonderful skateboarder, obviously, too. But he's one of those guys that I just kind of connected with him in the sense that, like, he never gave up. He would fall, and he would just get up the whole time, and he did, like, the craziest, gnarliest tricks. And I was like, this is what I want to do. It's almost like somebody watching a fast bowler for the first time, or watching a spinner and going, I want to be a fast bowler, or I want to be a spinner. He was the type of skateboarding that he did was what I kind of connected with, and I was like, that's what I want to do, and that's how I want to conduct myself. Like, if I fall,
how good were you, or are you?
I was really good. Like, I think I was really good. Look, skateboarding now is at a different level right now. Yeah. You know, like, guys right now are ridiculous, and if you're a professional skateboarder, and I'm still friends with a lot of guys that are professional skateboarders, they will tell you that skateboarding now, a 10-year-old now is way better than what a 25-year-old at his peak was 20 years ago. Okay, so that's just how it is right now. But when I was at that age, it was like those guys were obviously better than me, but I was getting to a point where
getting there. Yeah.
I could get there. And I was at a tipping point where I was in my life where I was like, is this something that I want to do professionally, or do I want to play cricket? I'm not going to say that I would have ever been winning gold medals at competitions, but it was a lifestyle choice. You know, I liked that lifestyle. I liked the individual side of things. I liked that there was no time clock. There was no one telling me, oh, you have to be you have to do this, you have to, you know, there's a team photo or anything. I could dress how I wanted to. I could go when I wanted to. I could skate for as long as I wanted to. There was an individual thing that I really, really kind of connected with. You know. And the great thing about somebody like Jeff now is we reached out to each other recently. I say recently, a couple of years ago, and he played cricket when he was in school. He grew up in Liverpool. He lives in California now, but he grew up in Liverpool, and he played cricket. And we coincidentally met once in Huntington Beach, and both of us were too shy to kind of say that I love skateboarding, and he was too shy to say that I played cricket. So now we're really good friends on Instagram. But it was amazing that throughout my youth, I idolized this man who I'm now quite good friends with.
Like, was it difficult for you to walk away from skateboarding? Because, like, the whole aesthetic, right? Like, the only way I was introduced to it here is by playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, the video game, which came with the music, which came with everything, right? The whole package.
Yeah.
That and watching the X Games.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Given that I'm not naturally athletic, like, for me, it's like, okay, I'll stop watching the sport, I'll start watching something else.
Yes.
How did it happen for you where you realized when you picked up the cricket ball immediately that you were faster than everybody else and that you were naturally gifted at cricket? So was it difficult to walk away from skateboarding in a way?
Look, I skate now, which is great. I'm able to skate now, which is good. And I think the nice thing is that, like, I had to make a career choice, you know, and when I was 20 years old, 19, when I moved to Pretoria, I had to kind of make a career choice. And I was like, okay, cool. I wanted to skate. And at the same time, I was there to play cricket. Right. But I was earning money playing cricket. And then all of a sudden, cricket kind of started to consume my time. Like, I was practicing every single day. I didn't have the opportunity to skate as much on weekends when I
You've never had it in any of your contracts that you couldn't skate for the risk of injury?
No, I think there was something there. I don't read the contracts through and through. Somebody else does. You know, they just say sign here. But I do know that they don't want you doing things like that, like skydiving. They don't want you to skydive.
Skiing is another.
Skiing.
And skateboarding is really hard on your ankles and knees.
Yeah, and I've done all of that. You know, like I've jumped out of planes and I've bungee jumped and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm surprised that they still paid me. But yeah, I mean, then eventually what happened was that cricket just started to take over my life from a financial and work point of view. And then all of a sudden you have to make almost like an adult you know, decision where it's to say, okay, skateboarding is extremely dangerous, and if I do this, I'm going to probably end my chances of having a successful career at something that I'm actually really good at.
Yeah.
So let me do this, and when I retire, I'll just go back to that, you know, which I've done.
There's also another quote from Eric. I've watched a lot of your skateboarding videos, and there's like, you take a lot of learnings from everything that you've done. Like fishing adds to cricket, skateboarding adds to cricket, right? And like, this is one thing that you had mentioned in a way where nothing teaches you more about cricket than skateboarding, because you have to keep picking yourself up. Falling down.
Okay, I'm confused.
Yeah. Well, I suppose when you're skating, or even surfing for that matter, surfing is even more difficult, to be honest with you, because skateboarding, I look at an obstacle and I'm like, okay, cool, I can hit this obstacle as many times as I want, and I'm probably going to fall. It's one of the most amazing things about watching a skateboarding video, because you watch those videos that those guys do. They'll put out a video for like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and how long it takes to do one trick is split seconds.
Correct.
You know? And how long does it take to land that trick? Days. So how many times do you think they've attempted to land that one trick?
I've seen these videos. I've always thought people are a little like, how where are the outtakes, the stuff that we haven't seen?
So that's the thing about skateboarding, is that you just don't give up. You just keep going. You just keep picking yourself up, and you keep going, and you keep going, and you keep going. And I found that in cricket was exactly the same thing. It was like, oh, it's fine. If I didn't get a wicket on this ball, I'll get a wicket on the next ball. You understand what I'm saying? Where sometimes people put a lot of pressure on themselves, and this is it, this is the ball, or they lose hope completely. And I found that skateboarding was like, it just taught me to keep going. Also, with the risk of being potentially really hurt, when you're looking at a hectic wave, like a big wave, or a big set of stairs, or a handrail, when you're skateboarding, the risk of the trick it's got to outweigh something. You know, so it's like, you have to first visualize, are you going to be able to get through this before you even attempt it? And the thing about cricket is that nothing is really life-threatening for me when I'm bowling. You know, not really, if I get this wrong, I'm not really going to hurt myself in a way. But like, if I get this wrong on this wave, there's a chance that I could drown, I could get hit by the reef and really cut myself up. If I get this wrong on my skateboard, there's a chance I'm going to break my ankle, hurt my knee, break my arm, and then I'm out for a very long time. So there's a lot of prep that goes into that.
But you took that visualization to cricket.
I took it into cricket.
Into cricket.
And I think it made me harder and stronger, because you get used to falling, you get used to hitting the cement, and you learn how to handle that too, and then pick yourself up, and you become hard and resilient. Whereas sometimes in cricket, maybe we're a bit too soft, and we're a bit too scared to try again, you know. So those things taught me to just never quit, essentially. You know.
Like, I wanted to transition from here into that iconic Grant Elliott photo, right, from the New
2015 semi-final,
right? Like, how does it feel to be a part of what is probably the photo of the tournament, right? You have like nobody. I don't remember that tournament for anything else apart from that one moment. Right. It's not even Australia winning. Australia won too many times. Like I don't remember that.
I think that and Kane Williamson's 6 to win it in Auckland. It was. Those two are the.
Did you feel that everything that you have done up till that point, like you had to get up? Right? That's exactly what you said. Like
absolutely,
you had to pick up and get up. Like that one photo. Like when you look back on the photo, forget the moment. Forget how you feel about it and what is happening in the moment. How do you feel about being a part of such like an iconic moment in
I absolutely love it, actually, you know, and everything kind of happens. I do believe everything kind of happens for a reason, and like maybe my whole participation in that World Cup led up for that one moment where you get up, where Grant Elliott's put his hand out, and it's a beautiful picture, actually. Like, again, it's something that I really enjoy from an artistic point of view. I think it's a wonderful picture, and it represents so much. And that one moment, although I didn't go on to win a World Cup, and neither did Grant, that one picture right there could mean so much to so many more people, in terms of like what it means to play this game, what it means to be a good sportsman, what it means to lose and pick yourself up, what it means to win and still pick somebody up who you've just beaten. It's that for me is probably, I'm happy to be a part of that. Ideally, yes, I want to win a World Cup. So does everybody else that comes to a World Cup. It's only going to be one team that wins a World Cup. But that one picture over there, I'm very proud of that moment. It's a wonderful, wonderful moment.
So like, how quickly did you get to fishing right after that? After that one very moment, given like your throughout your Instagram, right? Like it's mostly fishing, 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 fishing. Dogs, pets, fishing, fishing, fishing.
There's an odd lion or two in the middle. There's a tiger there, and then
There's some things, yeah.
There's the odd ollie or grinding of a pipe on the road, and fishing. Like, how did fishing happen? And
so fishing is just part of my family, I suppose. My mom's father, my grandfather, as far back as I can remember, he fished. He was a fisherman. My family fish. Weekends and holidays, we would go fishing. That's what my dad doesn't fish. Strangely enough, I actually took my dad on his first fishing trip now for my birthday a couple months ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I took him, and I've been fishing my whole life, and it was the first time that I took him fishing. But my grandfather fished, and we would spend weekends fishing from when I was a baby. So it was just part of my DNA. Like, that was it. Look, I lived in the Kruger National Park. I grew up in the bush. There was a lot of places to fish, freshwater fishing, and that's just what I did. With my friends, we would do it to have fun and relax. On weekends, we'd go and tent, camp, and we would fish. And now I get to go and catch these amazing fish that we watched on ESPN as kids growing up, when they were catching them all around the world, and in the magazines that we had seen. We're able to kind of target these fish.
So how does it work? Do you plan on getting one particular type? You do that.
So you go
it's not just anything in the...
No. Yeah, we kind of know exactly what we're going for. Like, if you're going to go to Botswana and the Zambezi, the Zambezi River, the Chobe River, then you're targeting tigerfish.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's a particular period of the year when the tigerfish are best to go and catch, which is winter time in South Africa. So we go there. If you want to fish for triggerfish, which is a saltwater fish. It's an amazing fish. He tails in water that's super shallow on the beach, and you throw these little crabs at him. It's incredible to catch. Come and eat it right by your feet with fly. It's insane. You catch them in the Seychelles. We went to Sudan to go and catch them. Giant trevally, GT. We targeted them in Sudan. There's a great documentary on giant trevally. It's on YouTube, narrated by David Attenborough, where this giant trevally jumps out of the water and catches a seagull in mid-air.
I think this clip is extremely famous.
It's famous.
Yeah.
So we go and we've targeted those fish. We've caught them. We went to Bolivia in the Amazon jungle to target golden dorado, not the golden dorado that everyone thinks of in salt water. This is a freshwater golden dorado. They get real big. Catch them on fly, and we just came back from Brazil now, where we targeted peacock bass. Which also, again, if you're lucky, you catch the big ones. Sometimes you're not so lucky, you catch smaller ones. It doesn't really matter, but a beautiful, colorful fish. And we go around the world targeting these fish. You go for about 10 days. You have a great time. Different periods of the year.
I petition Dale Steyn to host next Man vs. Wild. I think he can take it forward. This studio doesn't seem like the space
I feel out of place when I'm dressed like this. Like when we were in Brazil now, we basically slept in hammocks in the jungle. You know, no electricity, no power. It's a great opportunity to get off your phone. There's no Wi-Fi. There's no connection with the outside world at all.
Wow.
You are literally living in the moment, surrounded by mosquitoes, jaguars, and whatever else that can actually kill you. And that's how I grew up, you know. So now I spend my money trying to find that, you know. Again, it's wonderful, love it.
Like, doesn't it require a lot of patience to fish, right? Because it's not like you're going to, whatever we put up on Instagram, it's like the skateboarding thing you mentioned, right? You're not going to get that fish all the time.
No, you don't,
I don't get how a fast bowler like you, this is the act, right? Like menacing and looking to get a wicket at every ball, but you also have this boundless patience to sit, relax, be one with everything, and figure out.
Maybe the Mahela Sangha partnership helped.
I suppose, you know, fishing teach you patience. You know, it's called fishing and not catching. You know, and that's why you go and you know that you're going to have 10,000 casts in a day, and there's a chance that you might only get one bite, and you have to make that bite count. You know, and it's tough when you travel all the way across the world and you spend your whole day just casting, and then you get your one bite and you're not focused to set the hook and catch that fish.
The fish goes.
And I suppose it's the exact same thing when you're bowling and or fielding for that matter, when you've been in a test match the whole day and it's gone past the outside edge, and eventually someone finds the edge and you're at slip. You have to be aware to catch that ball. Otherwise, you could drop it and you could lose that big wicket. So fishing teaches you.
Is that a message to Jacques Rudolph?
No. I mean, people drop catches all the time. We lose fish all the time. That's part of it. And makes great stories.
But it takes days that you go without catching.
I wouldn't say you go days without catching. You have your opportunities, and if you know the conditions well and you go there in the right time of the year, which is what we focus on doing, the chances and probabilities of catching fish are extremely high. But you got to know what you're doing.
You could take that sentence and put it to taking a wicket as well. Exactly what you just said.
It's exactly the same thing. Yeah. If you go there and you adapt to your conditions and you've studied the pitch and you know what's going to work, whether it be a slower ball or a bouncer or a yorker, and you go to these places and you know that maybe yellow is going to work, not green. This lure is going to work, not that lure. You know, you're going to catch. And if you're good at it, you probably get a wicket or catch your fish or whatever it is. Yeah, it's a good combination.
Have you managed to fish in India at any point, or is that too difficult?
No, I haven't had a lot of time. There's, I do want to go and catch golden mahseer. It's in the northern part of India. It's a fish that I'm looking to target. I just need to find some time. But it's definitely on my bucket list to catch one of them. Yeah.
Like sticking to India that way, right? You have now transitioned from being a player to a coach, right? You're with Sunrisers Hyderabad. How has that transition been for you, given like you're one of the few people who, now that I'm talking to you, right, you have taken learnings from everything else and brought it to cricket. Like most people look at cricket as the first thing and they apply that to everything else.
Yeah.
Right. So how has that been like to be a coach of other players who are now looking up to you, and like I'm sure that it's a different role altogether.
Yeah, I suppose, you know, firstly the thing about it is that, you know, cricket's not my entire life. You know, there's so much more to my life than just cricket, and I think that's one of the messages that I try and send to a lot of these guys is that don't make it your entire life, because you can get you can be disappointed very quickly if you get an injury or something happens, or you run out of have a bad run of form and you get dropped and everything like that. You could really find depression could kind of kick in. So make sure that you've got other things that are more important to you, family, friends, you know, that kind of thing. But from a coaching point of view, it's been nice because I kind of got one foot in the dressing room, one foot in the coaching room right now. So I'm able to double dip, so to speak. You know, I know exactly what's required from a playing point of view, how training wants to operate, when they want to train, how long they want to train for, what they want to do at training. And I'm able to take that to my coaching side, where I'm able to tell a coach, listen, I don't know if so-and-so should bowl today. I've had a conversation with him. I've listened to him talk. I've watched him talk. I don't think he wants to train. I think it's a good chance to let him go. That's a nice thing to do.
How much can you squeeze into those 2 months, considering there are 14 games minimum?
What do you mean?
In a season, in an IPL season, for
coaching?
example. Coaching.
Training. You do train. We train. The guys like to train. That's the thing. Okay. There's no shortage of training. That's for sure. Training is always available. It's almost like what you want to do is that when you've got the guys that are playing all the time, it's how do you keep them fresh? How do you stop them from training too much? You know, guys, it's hot. We've got a big game coming up tomorrow. I don't need you to be dehydrated and tired. Also don't need you to bat yourself into bad form. You know, just in the nets. So it's nice that I'm sitting in a situation from my coaching point of view that I got 1 foot in and 1 foot out. So I can address the coaches, but then I can also go to the players in confidence and I can say, listen, you know, from my coaching side of things and from what I've heard, I think before a coach goes and says, I'm dropping you, this is what you need to work on. This is where maybe you need to focus on. And they might listen to me a little bit more because I'm still a player. But it's been an interesting journey so far, one that I've enjoyed, and I'm sure as the years go on, the players that I played with will start to step out of those dressing rooms. I'll become more of a coach and have 1 foot taken out of that.
But
that
you would like
side.
to continue to do this mentorship coaching that you're doing, at least for a little bit during the course of the year.
I suppose. I love the game. I love what the game's given me. I think I've got a lot to offer. It doesn't really matter at what level it is, whether it's IPL, international, or someone that's playing at school. You know, if I can make them a better player, then I'm going to offer what I can.
Like, to completely change gears, right? What's it like to bowl low full tosses to Adam Sandler?
Oh, yeah, that was fun. That was a fun thing. Yeah, he gave me a call out of nowhere. That was interesting because his bodyguard is a good friend of mine, Rory Steyn, and Rory has a business, Nickel Steyn, that provides all the security for IPLs and as well as red carpets and stuff like that. Lots of Hollywood actors and everything like that. I'm not too sure if they still do it now, but so Rory was working closely with Adam, and Adam was filming this movie in South Africa. They wanted to shoot a baseball scene, but they don't play baseball in South Africa, so Adam thought it would be funny to shoot a cricket scene, and he thought it would be even funnier if he had a professional cricketer play in the movie. And he does that often in his movies, where he's had like Shaquille O'Neal, he's had John McEnroe, he's had Andy Roddick from tennis point of view. He's a big sportsman himself. He loves playing basketball. And Rory suggested using me. So out of nowhere, I got this phone call and was Adam Sandler on the line. And yeah, I flew over to Atlanta and I spent a week with him, Drew Barrymore and the whole cast, Terry Crews. And yeah, watched them film a little bit, did my lines. And then, yeah, was in a Hollywood movie. Pretty cool. Shot hoops with him and Shaq when in between filming. It was pretty insane.
Is that where you met Shaquille O'Neal, right? Like, there's a selfie of you on Instagram with Shaquille. Like, do you follow basketball, or is that?
I mean, I used to follow basketball, not so much anymore. But yeah, it was pretty crazy because we were staying at this golf course. Everyone had like they owned like a little house. And Adam came to fetch me the one day in his little golf cart, but it was like this souped up golf cart. It looked like a G-Wagon, but it was a little golf cart. And he's like, "Do you want to go shoot hoops?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, cool." And at this point, I'd spent a day or two with him, so it was kind of cool. And he's like, "We're just picking up Shaq," and I was like,
"Shaq in a golf cart?
What?" And he's like, "Yeah, we're just gonna pick up Shaq quickly." And we picked up Shaquille O'Neal, and then we went and shot hoops, played basketball together. It was pretty insane. And the entire time that I was there, I was so nervous. I didn't take many photos because I know what it's like to be like part of like a team. It's like I've been to the IPL so many times, but I don't have photos of myself and Virat. I don't have photos of myself and AB. I don't have photos of myself and other cricketers. And when I was there, I just assumed that that's kind of the right thing to do. It's like I'm not going to pull out my phone and start filming us playing basketball. You know, I don't do that when I'm cricket. So I didn't. I don't have a lot of stuff to back it up. But the day I was leaving, I was like, "Shaq, we need to have a selfie, dude." So we I did that.
Sticking to movies, right? What is your favorite movie to watch? Like, there is a post on your Instagram about Lord of the Rings, right? When for me, that's one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, if it's on somewhere, I'll end up watching the whole 3 hour. Like, I'll stop everything I'm doing and sit for 3 hours and finish it off if it's on anywhere. But what is it for you?
I mean, I love those. I don't really watch a lot of TV. That's the crazy thing. I don't know if I told you the other day, but I don't have a TV now at my house. I don't have a TV. Yeah, I don't have.
Okay, you fish, you do cool stuff. Fine.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time. I got
he doesn't need to do this stuff.
I got 3 border collies. You know, they keep me busy, dude. Like, there's no.
Do you race them? You can't. I mean, it's
no, you can't. There's no time. They wake me up. They CPR wake me up in the morning. They jump on my chest and and they just want to be outside the whole time.
So what are their names?
Chobi is the oldest one, named after the Chobi River where we go tiger fishing. Then I got Mowgli. He's the middle boy, and then
there's an Indian connection. Mowgli.
Yeah, exactly. Mowgli, and you know that comes from the Jungle Book, which was filmed. The writer wrote that book based on the jungle outside of Nagpur. So that's an interesting one for his kids. And then the last one is Kira. She's a brown and white border collie, and I went to Australia recently. I had a great surf there at Kira. So yeah, I named her after that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is it easier to be with your pets more now that like you don't travel as much as an international cricketer, right? Like is that one of the few things to look forward to?
It's the hardest thing now because like I hate having to leave them at home. You know, they are basically my children. And when I leave, they know. Like when I start packing my bags, they start to get upset. They don't want to talk to me. They get grumpy. They all got their own personalities. They wonderful. I love them. And when I come home, they're excited to see me. And then the realization kicks in for them. They were like, "Oh, this dude, he left us. You've been gone for," and then they ignore me again for a little bit because they start sulking because they realize that I've just treated them badly. And then they come by, and then it's okay.
About border collies, a line or two, because one thing, don't ever get them if you don't have space. Ever.
Yeah, no,
ever.
True.
And secondly, like I don't think I've ever seen one, because I don't think in India we really have border collies, but they're known as working dogs, especially in I think Britain and the spaces. So do you get them to do anything around your space, your area, or like generally, how are they as a...
Yeah, they're very busy. Like they want to run
all the time.
All the time. They want to play all the time, and they want to work. They want to be taught things. So I suppose the one nice thing about them is if you don't have the space, you really need to mentally stimulate them a lot. You need to try and teach them things, whether it's just teaching paw or down or circles or around you or between your legs, little things like that you can do inside your house with treats. Because they want to be mentally stimulated. They want to be physically worked too, but the mental stimulation makes them equally as tired. So yeah, I try and do a lot of that with them because that's just what they are. You know, they're just extremely busy and intelligent dogs. You know.
There is a video on YouTube. I mean, I don't think we can put it here, but their speed was recorded at almost 38 kilometers per hour. One of them. It's outstanding.
Yeah, they're very
the
quick.
Joy that I
They're
get
also other smarter dogs.
Yeah, they're super smart.
Yeah,
border collies are.
Like I like how we like, tell me, Dale, what movies do you watch? Someday like, nah.
And we got onto dogs.
None of that dogs. And like I wanted to talk about like all your dogs anyway, but like I'm glad that that's what came out first, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Lord of the Rings, everyone has seen.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, from a movie point of view, I watch a lot of like, I love watching surf documentaries and surf films. They come with great music. They're beautiful to watch. They're so well filmed, you know, from an artistic or cinematography point of view. You know, they're lovely to watch. You know, if you're a series person like Netflix and that, I don't watch that. I got no time. Like I don't have time to sit for weeks.
Okay, what about cricket?
Of my life. No, I don't watch cricket either. The build up to World Cups, I will obviously watch.
Like the Australia South Africa that just happened.
I watch parts of it. Yeah, I think it's only fair that I watch parts of it. I'm also a coach. I need to know how my players are doing and how well they're doing, and I keep track of that. And I am interested to see how guys go. But I guess I'm just like anybody else. You know, I've got other things that interest me. So if there's a cricket match on, I'm not going to sit there and watch all day.
So you have to pick which interests you more, and then.
Yeah, but I like the surf documentary films. There's one called South to Cyan. South to Cyan. It's beautifully filmed. It's well narrated. It's a story about two guys that go on a surf trip, and yeah, it's wonderful.
Has no one ever approached you to like host a program, or you're a famous face? You're out there, you're in the wild. Has no one ever? If no one has, this is your moment.
I'm famous in the cricket sense, you know. So that's why I'm sitting here, and that's why I leave it up to the professional surfers to do the surf filming and the skateboarders to do the skateboarding, and they're not sitting here and I'm not sitting there. So I think that's about right, isn't it?
Is there a wave that you wish you could write? Like I remember seeing somewhere on YouTube about this one rogue wave of the coast of Spain, which was maybe, I don't know, 20, 25 feet tall, which one surfer was trying to catch all the time, and he managed to catch it, like practicing all day, all night, and managed to catch it. Is there some place where you want to surf, or have you done it all so far?
No, I think there's lots of unridden waves. There's lots of, the thing about surfing is that it's also the adventure. It's like going there and seeing the area and meeting the people, and it's an adventure. You know, the wave is wonderful. The best wave in the world is a 7-hour drive from Cape Town in Jeffreys Bay. So I drive from Cape Town. We'll drive up there, you know, a couple times a year. It's a great place. The people there, I've gotten to know them well now. They're wonderful people, and it's just a world famous wave. People from all around the world fly there to go and surf this wave. So we don't have to go far to have the best wave in the world. But there's something nice about going to Indonesia and Bali and these tropical places, warm water where you surf in board shorts and beautiful pristine water with reef underneath you. It's completely see-through. You can do a little bit of fishing. It's a real adventure if you can go and find these wonderful places. And I'm going to Mozambique now next week, actually. So yeah.
This is for surfing?
This is for surfing. Yeah, we're going to go and surf. I'll take a rod with. I'll do a little bit of fishing.
Fishing and surfing.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
What's on your playlist right now, just in terms of music, right? Like, the reason I ask this is there's a whole bunch of, let's say, gigs that you've attended that you have put up on Instagram.
Yeah.
There's Foo Fighters concert footage. There's a Dave Grohl book that you had read at some point. So what is it that you listen to, and has it changed from the time when you had debuted for South Africa?
I've always listened to the same kind of music. I've always listened to like rock music, alternative rock music. I also like sometimes I like heavy metal, you know. I'm like that, which is kind of weird. Like you think that, but I was listening to some heavy metal the other day, yesterday morning when I was flying, and I fall asleep listening to it. Like I'm listening to classical music. I was listening to some classical music.
Dale,
now
probably
too,
you fell asleep yesterday because you got up at like 3 a.m.
No, I do that anytime. That's just what I listen to. I kind of like.
As much as I don't want to interrupt what he's saying, I relate to this hard.
Yeah.
I'm a metalhead.
Yeah.
But you fall asleep?
I fall asleep listening to metal. It happens.
Yeah,
okay, that's
dude.
okay.
Full tattoo, full sleeve tattoo, metal blaring in the background, guys tattooing me, and I'll fall asleep whilst he's doing it. So
that does happen. So have you moved on from Foo Fighters, or is there?
Well, there's lots of bands. They come and go all the time. What am I currently listening to? Let me see. So my old school favorites, obviously, don't even know. Lately, I've been listening to a lot of War on Drugs. Love War on Drugs. There's a band that's out of America now that I like. They're called Pine Grove. I've really been into Pine Grove. They're really nice. You can listen to them. They indie rock. It's easy listening to. But I'll tell you what I don't listen to. I don't listen to anything that's like on the radio right now. Like
no Billboard top 40s.
No, if you put that's don't. I will die.
You would have almost had to bleep something out there.
Almost, yeah. No, and old rap. Love like old rap.
So Nas.
Yeah, Gangsta. Who else? Dinosaur Jr. Stuff like that. Yeah, a lot of bands that not a lot of people actually know the names of. To be fair,
like. It's taken us, I think, around 40 minutes so far-ish, and like now is when I want to keep talking to you for hours because
you're welcome to carry on chatting. You can break this down for as long as you want.
Right?
It's no problem.
Like, there's this way you describe Liverpool's football, right? Like Jurgen Klopp, heavy metal football, right? And like when I would watch you play, it would be like punk rock cricket in a way, right? Like just at it in your face, and it's just amazing to see that is. Outside of the sport, that's not who you are. You are warm, you're welcoming.
You said Liverpool, that reminded me. Are you a Chelsea fan?
I'm a Chelsea fan. Don't ever say Liverpool around.
Yeah.
How boring was that? Like, jeepers.
Did you get a jersey signed by Lampard at some point?
Yeah, I suppose when you're part of these things, Wayne Bentley, who's I think he's with England right now. He was our manager. He's a good friend of mine from South Africa. He's working with England. He's been maybe New Zealand too. He was working at Chelsea Football Club, and I was a big Chelsea fan. And then number 8, Frank Lampard, number 8, Stuart Broad, number 8, Kobe Bryant,
yeah,
Kieran Reid, myself, a couple others. We're number 8. Yeah, pretty tight, the bunch of us. Who else? I'm trying to think music-wise. Jeez, I mean, I love Blink-182, old Blink-182. So there's a guy named, like the new stuff just sounds too, like too modern. And then there's a guy named Alex Melton. He does like covers.
Okay.
He does he'll do a country cover and he'll turn it into punk rock. So yeah, check Alex Melton out. He's cool. Yeah.
We'll do that. Thank you so much, Dale.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Karthik, for also being part of this. This is going to be the title of the show, Punk Rock Cricket. With
Punk Rock Cricket.
That's awesome.
That's
right.
Cool.
So thank you so much for being a part of our show so far. If you like what you're listening to, do leave a rating on Spotify or review on Apple Podcasts. It really takes it forward. Until next time.